Alright, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today this is something that I'm so excited to talk about with you guys because I have been loving this show so far. So make sure this video might be a long one, so just get comfortable and have a snack on you if you're eating a meal, like just go ahead and do that while you watch. Um, so today, as you can see by the title, we're about to be talking about Teen Wolf, and I'm gonna say all my thoughts and opinions and my theories, and this is only based off of season 1 and a couple episodes of season 2. I have not finished season 2 at all yet. Um so yes. And I literally cannot, I literally have 3 pages full of thoughts and theories on season 1 alone. So yeah, but I am so excited to get started. My first thoughts and theories is about Allison, and I wanted to do her first because for one thing, my first thought was I when she was introduced in the show, I didn't like her. I don't know, there's just something about her that I'm just like I don't really like. I think she's very annoying and a little bit whiny, and it why is my hair sticking up like that? Like, I'm not alfalfa, like, come on. But anyway, so yeah, I just there's just this weird vibe that I get from her. But let's just start for first. um I One thing about Allison is that oh, by the way, if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes and stuff. But one thing that I think about Allison is that she's very unpredictable because you don't really know what she's gonna do. Um, but also, and also, just another disclaimer, there might be spoilers, so if you haven't watched the show, then don't watch um then don't watch it, or come back to the video once you've watched it, okay? But because of who her family is, but also even though she didn't know in the beginning, it is she could um have unintentionally said things that might have gotten, you know, Scott in trouble, if they didn't already know that Scott is a werewolf. Then yeah, but you really have to think about this the situation that they're in is it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type situation because like but also it's but also in the show it's kind of like they can't be together because of the fact that Scott is a werewolf and her family is werewolf hunters, and they probably hunt other things, to be honest. I don't know what, but they probably hunt other things. And yeah, the fact that she ended up with Scott is, I don't think that is a coincidence at all. um but yeah, but I think also another reason why I think that she is unpredictable is that um there might be a case in the future that whatever she is in with her friends or with Scott and unintentionally says something to her family because they already know and don't like, you know, Scott being in their home, but it's always getting in ending up in tough situations. And also um Allison might take advantage of Scott or whatever and kind of use whatever information she is getting and tell it to her family. And I don't think she would do it right now, but I think in the future she might. Um, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more, but yeah, and my my clear thought of what I wrote was because she knows that Scott is a werewolf, what if she uses that against them and takes a revenge against Derek because Derek is the one who Kate, and you know, obviously that is her aunt and she cared deeply about her, but um yeah, like um I think that um it might be the case, I'm not sure, because their relationship is so unclear. And like also I get the feeling that Allison is like kind of uncomfortable and not really free to do, like her family is very like manipulative and kind of like, you know, whatever I say goes type of people. So, and just like, yeah, and also I get the feeling that some of the family members are um backstabbers a little bit. Kind of like kind of going against other people and going against what is right. But yeah, I'm gonna get into it. So yeah, and a theory that I have is what if Allison gets brainwashed and her mom is Victoria Argent. I looked up all of their names so you guys know like who exactly I'm talking about. But Allison's mom, like, is her mom is very suspicious. That's for one thing I have to say. Um, and I feel this is what I think about her mom. So I'm getting into Allison's mom now. Um, One of the theories that I have is that what if her mom is the one who really started that fire? Because she knew that Kate was in cahoots with Derek and made her do and act the way that she has been, like with the whole keeping Derek like in these like chains and whatever, and like kind of hiding him in like his own home, like literally under his own home, and like literally doing that and like kind of betraying the trust of Derek because we know in that particular scene that they have been together. So it's it's really, I think that is like really what happened. And yeah, and then I don't know cuz with okay, I'm going to kind with this video also, I'm going to kind of jump back and forth, but because of like the uncle, his name is Peter, Peter Hale. He his like kind of little vision was kind of unclear, and she saw a young person, but that could have also been the mother, like Victoria Argent, because like obviously that was like years and years ago, so it might have been her, or it might have been, it it could have well been Kate, who the uncle seen, but it was the mom Victoria who started the fire. So we don't really know really what happened, but I think in the time to come, I feel like everything will just unfold and we'll kind of see, or they will reveal who actually started the fire. And I also feel like Chris Argent, which is Allison's father, I think he is kind of becoming a little bit more suspicious of the people who he is coming around, and kind of just like being and kind of seeing like the people that I'm around are not who are becoming someone that I don't know anymore, or they're not um or they're not like being who I thought they were. And this is my theory about Chris. I don't know if I wrote any other uh theories about Chris, but this is the one I do have, is that Chris Argent is going to team up with Scott and help him, but in the way of, I think he is going to see what's going on, and like the old guy, I think I wrote it down a little bit further down, but the old guy, I don't know his name. I couldn't find it. I didn't see it in the cast list, so I have no idea what his character's name is, but the old guy, Allison's grandfather or great grandfather, is like this, like he's not scary, but he's kind of like a scary dude, and he's kind of cutthroat, like kind of like he's kind of evil, to be honest. Like you get the feeling that he's kind of evil, and like kind of puts on this nice, like, oh, I'm a nice old man, like, oh, I'm your grandfather, you should like, and like the way that he treats people is just like, oh, like, oh my gosh, like, you need to go. You need to go like to an old home because you're doing too much. You and like I we haven't even seen that much of him, but we've seen like what he's capable of, and what he does, and it's very like, it's giving evil, it's giving evil old guy, and he needs to calm down. um anyway, um so I have some questions, and these are questions, but they're also theories, but also questions. Is, why did Derek, his uncle, to become alpha, and is there a bigger purpose for him forming his army? And I think, in my kind of thoughts coming for these answers, I think I kind of answered my own question, but I kind of want other people to kind of be in the comments and like kind of be like, oh yeah, like, and put their own opinions and stuff like that. And if you already know the answer, do not say the answer, just like put your own little things here and there, but don't spoil anything for any others. And because there may be people who haven't finished season 2 yet, and I haven't finished season 2, so yeah. But I do get that the old guy is threatening their very existence, and and literally like hunting them down one by one. um but I feel like that's not the reason. I think Derek knew that something was coming, but I don't understand. But I feel like, that I don't think that we don't really know much about Derek, because he's like the mysterious guy, and like he's just like kind of like in the shadows or whatever, and stuff like that. But like we've seen like little parts of him, and like, you know he's very vulnerable. I And we don't really know much about him, so it's really hard to kind of understand him. So this is why I'm asking the question, is, why did he do what he did to become alpha? And was it his, because like in season 1 it did feel like he was kind of manipulating Scott and in a way, and like kind of just like, because he's been a werewolf for so long and like knows what he's doing, but it didn't feel, there has to be a much bigger reason why he is doing what he's doing. And I also said that I think because of the fact that um that the werewolves are literally stronger in packs, he needs that. um but even though Derek has been a wolf for a very long time, he doesn't seem that strong by himself and gets defeated very easily. So I'm gonna kind of explain my thoughts on that. For the first point that I said, that like the wolves are stronger in packs, I think because of the purpose, because of the question that I said earlier, is there a bigger purpose for him forming his army? Because he's not strong enough on his own, I think that's why he he knows that these are stronger than packs, uh stronger in packs, so he's forming his own, and he knows that he's not strong enough on his own, and he is forming his own strong army. But I don't think, and like also because of, I'm gonna kind of get in more into depth with Scott, but I feel like because Scott is a lot stronger than him in a lot of ways, even though he's a very, very new werewolf. He hasn't, Scott has not been a werewolf for that long at all. I think that the fact that also, even though like Derek is an alpha, I think that Scott had already had his own pack with Styles and Lydia and Allison. Literally, they say it so many times that that is his pack, and he's trying to get rid of them one by one. Also, I keep forgetting Jackson, even though he is not like he doesn't even want to be there. Um, because literally Jackson is um not uh he's not a fan of Scott at all, because you know Scott literally, even though he didn't do it on purpose, Scott literally takes his position as captain, and yeah, and as like, lacrosse, is it lacrosse? Yeah, lacrosse. And yeah, and he becomes like popular, and uh even the, I don't know, he I'll get a little bit more into Jackson in later, but I feel like Jackson, he has to work so much harder, um because his brain is telling them that he has to work so much harder, because if he doesn't, he's gonna lose everything that he's ever worked for and built for himself. Even though he's literally a teenager, I feel like he can relax sometimes, but he doesn't. I don't think he knows how to. But yeah, I think in the later seasons he may become a little bit more calmer. But who knows what will happen. But yeah, but also my other question was, if the uncle was by Derek, does that mean that Derek is Scott's alpha now? And this is not really clear, so that's why the question has to be made. And also, like, when and also this also is like a question of, like, is it like, now that his alpha is dead, um does that mean that since he already has his own pack, does that mean that he is his own alpha now? So that's like another question. That, what is that spot in the wall? I don't know what that spot is, but it's always there. Hold on. Oh, that's just the thing on my phone. I was like, what is that spot on the wall? But that is just a little crumb or something on my phone. But yeah, but that, it's a really interesting thing to think about. But yeah, so that's literally the first page. So let's go on to the second page. So here's the next part. I think Scott is gonna become going no. I think Scott is going to be a natural born alpha. And back to what I was saying before, um, I I think that Scott is he's very strong, and even though he gets help by people, he's very strong. And they're like, even though Derek is strong too, I if um if Scott trained a little bit more and was a little bit more serious about the werewolf thing, I think he could beat Derek. And I don't think he's doing that right now, because I don't think he's serious, really that serious about being a werewolf. I think it's just something that's just happening to him, and it's not something that is him right now. So, yeah, so I think he just needs to become like, he needs to realize that this is who he is now, and he has to take it seriously, because he, like, with all things, like with all the paranormal universes and TV shows, it's like they have to keep their identity a secret. Like with werewolves, vampires, or whatever, the mermaids or whatever, they have to keep it a secret, because there are people who, like the Argents, who are hunting them down, or experimenting on them, or whatever. It's like that kind of thing where they have to keep their identity and their, you know, their personhood a secret, because of the danger, the imminent danger that they're always in. So, yeah. But going back into that, um, because, okay, so this is like my theory. Because of that fact, I wonder if that is why Scott is so opposed to how Derek is going about things right now. And also, even before Derek became alpha, I feel like Scott has the traits and the characteristics to be alpha. So, going off of that, maybe did Derek see that and got threatened and rushed in that moment, and Scott's alpha, did he it's just like, what, because we don't know. All we know is Scott's POV. We don't know Derek's backstory. We don't know what Derek is feeling. We don't know what Derek's day to day is. So we don't know if Derek can see that he's a natural born alpha or not. Because I think he has, I feel like with a lot of things he has inklings, but he isn't sure. And I feel like, I don't know where I was going about that, but yeah, I feel like he can see it a little bit, but he's like unsure, and he's like, I don't, I, I, I see it, and like he's like, I know he's gonna be stronger than me once he takes this a little bit more seriously. But he's always backing out of my help, so I can't help him. But also on that fact, it's like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, if I can, like, I can see like he's gonna be very strong, and you know, and like it's all in the case of once Scott takes this way more seriously than he has been, I think like he'll be that. And also, I think, I don't know, this is my theory. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but once we get into a little bit more characters, because there's bound to be new characters maybe in every season. I'm pretty sure there's 6 or 7 seasons. So there is bound to be new characters maybe every season. So on that fact, I think that Scott might turn a human into a werewolf, um to kind of, or it, I don't know, because it's hard to say, but I think he might. But I I I Scott is like the type of person that he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but I think because he is a werewolf, and he has those traits and characteristics of being an alpha, I think that he might, because there are certain points where a werewolf becomes not human and more wolf and more animalistic. So I think he might turn someone into a werewolf, a new character. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure. I really want to see what happens, but I'm just like, I have a feeling he might, to kind of contrast of and try to do it differently from how Derek is doing. Like he's literally being compelling people and um like turning them into a werewolf. So we will see what really happens, but that's all I got to say on that. And I think, okay, so here is like my stuff for Jackson. I think that Jackson is the lizard looking monster, because okay, because we because we know that Derek has turned a few people into werewolves, just based on their kind of characteristics. I can't remember the guy's name, but there's 3 people that he has turned into werewolves. He's turned 2 boys and 1 girl, and the newest one is Isaac. I don't really have any thoughts on him, but I think he'll be a really good one. Um, but I'm not sure what's gonna happen with him. Um, but I see, um, oh yeah, I do have some thoughts on him. Okay. Um, but, I'm not sure. But we know that he's a werewolf. Um, so it can't be him. And I don't think that Derek, because this has been it. I thought it could have been Isaac, but I don't think it's him. And obviously we know that Lydia is not a werewolf either, so we know that, so it can't be her. So it has to be Jackson. And yeah, and because in one of the scenes, like, Styles says that, like, the lizard looking monster was looking at him like he knew him and just went away. And so in that sense, it may be not him, but it could be. But also, here are some theories on the fact that maybe he is the lizard monster. Okay, so one thing that we do know is because of the bite or scratch. I am not sure if he was bitten or scratched. So yeah, I think he was scratched, but I wasn't sure. Um the scratch, I'm gonna say a scratch, so I'm not saying bitten or scratched a bunch. But we know that it got rejected, but it affected him in a different way. So yeah, because I mean, I I don't know, like, it because in the scene with Lydia, it, that stuff was not happening with her, so it didn't make any sense on what it could have been. Ooh, okay. But I think that um because of the fact that he is adopted, I think that maybe he was already like that, but it got suppressed and until he got bitten or scratched. So that's my theory. I think this theory, I feel like, is my strongest theory that I have so far. Um um but I think also, I feel like my theories are, I feel like all of them are pretty strong, but I feel like this one is my strongest so far. I think that he is, I don't know, there's something about him that is off. And I think this is right. Cuz it makes sense, but also um it could come off as a crazy um theory, but I think it's true. I think it's a pretty solid theory. What was I? Oh, okay. So, um, oh, okay. So this is kind of about Styles now. So yeah. So why did Styles really reject the offer of becoming a werewolf like Scott? And one of the things that I thought about is, I think you would find it really cool. Um, but like, what is truly stopping him from that? And I think that if he really wanted, I think that he would ask, like, Scott or Derek to turn him into one. But I don't think it's something that he wants, because what if it's because of his dad? No. I think he would find, so this is what I put. So I think he would find it to be cool since he helps or tries to help his best friend Scott with the, you know, the ins and outs of being a werewolf, because, you know, help him with the full moons and the you know, how to be a werewolf and how to train like one. And also okay, I was like, where did I leave off? Okay. Or what's that say? Or the dad angle that I was saying, he wants to protect his dad, because I mean, like, his mom is already passed. He already lost his mom, so I think literally his dad is the only family member that he has, and he wants to protect his dad. Um, and yeah, and I think that if he were to take that offer, it's because he doesn't want to hurt his dad, and also him, because of the animalistic tendencies that werewolves have. And what I'm saying about that is because of, like, he knows that werewolf being a werewolf is no joke, and there is the risk of him possibly hurting. Oh my gosh, his hair is like so annoying. Like, stop sticking up. There is a huge possibility that he might hurt his mom. But also another fact that also Scott is literally in that opposite position. He is a werewolf, and he would never hurt his mom. And both of their situations, they only have one parent. So yeah. The dad is still living. His dad is still living, but it's like they're divorced or something like that. I don't really know, but I know he's living anyway. But he only has one parent, so he knows that he wouldn't want to ever hurt his mom, and he knows that, and he knows the. But I also get that the situations and the mental capacities are at two different playing fields now, because of the fact that Styles is human, his dad is human, his girlfriend is human, his friends are human, but he's not, and his mom is human. So he really has to be careful of he really has to be careful of how he handles things, and he has to handle his anger, and he has to handle everything that comes with that. And yeah, and that can be difficult and really hard. So yeah, so we're gonna get a little bit more into Styles, because Styles is something else. Okay, so Styles is constantly in danger, and being in this new situation and new environment, he's constantly in danger. He gets thrown around quite a lot, and it is very curious, because my question is, how is he always okay? Like, how does he always come out okay? Like, he's never bruised. Well, maybe sometimes, but he's never bruised. He's always a-okay the next day. So how does he do it? It um and this also has the question of, if he did get bitten, would he even turn, or would he be immune like Jackson is? But in not in the way that Jackson is, but literally, like it would be like getting stung by a bee, or getting a mosquito bite, like kind of like that. um would it even work? Because that's the thing, it doesn't work for everyone. So, but it feels like it wouldn't even work. um but yeah, this also um has I also have a question about the fact that, how does he know all of this stuff? There is only so much research that a teenage boy can do. There are also only so many things that he can look up and know that is the right information. So that begs the question, is Stiles really just a human? And I don't want to make any assumptions or create or crazy theories, but since we don't know who his mom was or what she was like, um I had the question of, um is his mom somehow like how like Vampire Bella is, like she has like a strong self-control, self, like like her mind is like an iron wall, kind of like something like that. Um and it's just like, it's very strange because Stiles is so different, and I think people can see that, but it's like, I don't think even Stiles knows like like what is like how he's going through all of this, and like without any scathes. But it's very interesting, very curious to see what happens, because I don't think anybody knows. Cause like, and I think people are gonna really just question, like, how do you know all this stuff, and like like it's like, what is he that he can like also be okay with, and not be intimidated. Well, I think he may be a little bit, but not be intimidated or scared of being around so many different creatures like werewolves and whatever, um the whatever else might come by. But so far there's only werewolves and that lizard thing. So yeah. Okay. So on Dr. Alan Dean, which is just name, I'm just gonna call him Alan. Because yeah, I think, I don't know, because like this is a question that I had, because I was just like, also, he's like very knowledgeable, and like he is like I feel like he's not who he seems he is. I think he's a good guy, but I don't think he is who he is. I don't think he's human either. I think that he may be a witch or a fairy or an elf, something along those lines, um because I think he's like older. Why is she going over here? I'm trying to have I'm trying to film a video. And yeah, like he well, I said that he helps the origins, but that was not, I don't think he wanted to. And he knows that, he knows that Sky's a werewolf, even though he didn't even have to say it. He like he helped with Peter and all that stuff, and like helped kind of was like knew about the Wolfsbane and all that stuff and like stuff. So I know he knows a lot of different things, and he's like, I don't know, he's just something else. I don't like, he may be a werewolf, but I don't think so. I think because of, I think he's a fairy or a witch or both. I don't know, but yeah. Because of the fact of the way that he is, I think those could be the answers. But yeah, that's just my one theory about him. Um, I think because also it feels like he also has an obligation to help people, but I don't know. But also on the other hand, it's kind of curious to me. Um, I don't know. But on Isaac, I have no other thoughts than this. Okay. I think that when werewolves become werewolves, I think, and this has something to do with, so just hold on. When werewolves become werewolves, they get elevated strengths, like that they already have, like how in I'm just like, going off of like, stuff that I've seen, but like in Twilight, they have like elevated strengths that they had in their life before they become vampires. So, like have like super strength, or like a strong-willed mind, or like like elevated charisma, or like super empathy, um, or something like that, or telepathic, or something like that, like they can tell, um, or like they're psychic or something, like, I can like have like, you know, visions of the future or something, I don't know, but just like those extra strengths or powers. Um, but I think that considering that, I think that Isaac um is just like Scott in a way, that he's very powerful, and you can see it on him, that because of his situation, and because of the life that he's been living up until he became a werewolf, you can see um the anger and the trauma just oozing out of him. And yeah, but he's a very different kind of werewolf based upon the upbringing of before he got turned. And that's what I was saying, like he he's a very different, I think he is a very different kind of werewolf, and that's why he works so well with Derek, is because he can kind of see the kind of hurt and stuff like that. But I also just think he was just like trying to get him to become a werewolf. But on that hand, I think also, and he was also trying to, on that fact, make him a werewolf because he needs it from his army, but also help Isaac get out of the situation that he's in. If you guys have watched, you know exactly the stuff that I'm talking about. So yeah, but that is all of the theories I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have theories of your own for season 1, then drop them in the comments. But yeah, and also just tell me what you guys think of my theories. But yeah, if you guys like this video, give it a huge like, and also just make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and yeah, and hit the bell to be notified when I post another video. Bye.